Hello and welcome to Atom with Lucas. So today we're going to be talking about SOPYOU. That's S-O-P-Y-O-U. This is a mini projector. It's actually an LCD projector. So in this video, we're going to do a hands-on with the box, quick unboxing and first impressions on said projector. After that, I'm going to be putting this bad boy to the Atom Lucas test to figure out, is this something you should buy or maybe skip altogether? I'm here for you, so you don't have to waste your time buying and returning. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Alright, let's take a look at this bad boy right quick. So the top right corner, you have the name of the company. I'm guessing this is called SOPYOU. This is the mini video projector. There's an image of what's to come in the box. Walk around this thing real quick. This is a 5-volt, 500 milliamp output right there. Alright, let's get inside this box, shall we, people? Alright, everything is nicely packaged inside of here. Very good job, SOPYOU. SOPYOU, I don't know how to say that. This is their proprietary charging cable, power cable right here. Oh, it's got a tiny little tripod. All right, we got ourselves a little remote. Very cool. Oh, I've seen this exact remote before. Wow, that is really funny. I think the last projector I reviewed had this exact same remote. AUX to auxiliary and video port. And then, of course, you have your HDMI to HDMI. Tucked under the projector is the most important thing, the user manual. Definitely read through all. Right, let's take a look at the creme de la creme. Oh, whoa, this thing, I don't know why, this thing looks more like something that's a medical procedure device than a projector. It's very sterile and clean looking. I applaud them tremendously. And also this baby blue is definitely a blast from the 90s for sure. I don't know if you guys remember the baby blue Jordans, but those were huge back in the day. All right, let's go ahead and walk around this bad boy. It looks like this is the front right here. It's got a nice little lens cap to project the projector lens. Project to protect the projector lens. There is the name of the company once again, and that looks like it might be the IR blaster right there, or the receiver for the remote. You have a nice little vent on the side right here, and then you have all your different ports down at the bottom. You have their power port, headphone jack, audio video jack, HDMI, and then USB regular old school. There's another vent on that side. And then on the bottom, you have your standard tripod thread right there. So you could thread on the tiny, tiny little tripod that came with it, or you can go ahead and put it on a regular size tripod. The feet at the bottom are quite large. They almost feel like they're gonna get bumped off if you put them in a bag or something. So that is kind of strange. I don't know why they are that big, but I am just probably picking nits for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top right here. So you have two different sliders over here to adjust the ketone and the focus right there. So that's very important to figure all that out. There's the power button, the back button, the OK. All right, so first glance, first use, this thing is pretty small. It is not big whatsoever. I'll go ahead and hold it up to a Note 3 right here. So you can just basically see it's the size of an older large Note phone. This is, of course, is now small compared to the big Notes that are out there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the materials. So the materials are definitely decent. This is made out of some kind of textured plastic. It's a little bit clunky, a little bit flimsy, and the coloring is, of course, hilarious. Oh, there's another IR blaster in the back. That's cool. All right. So if you're pointing it at the back or the front, you got yourself an IR blaster. Nice. Yeah, so the build quality is definitely decent. It's not terrible by any means. There's nothing that's really standing out to me that says this is really cheap. The buttons are nice and clicky. And of course, it's all going to come down to what is actually going on in there and how bright this thing can project. A lot of these things fail because they need to be in pitch black environments in order to work, and if there's any light at all, they become washed out and terrible. So that is something I'll definitely be looking forward to, is hoping this thing can project with some good brightness. And then of course you want the sharpness and all that other fun stuff, but I'm guessing this thing is going to be budget friendly. We won't know anything until we get this thing plugged in and we start a reviewing. Let's get into this, people.
Okay, so the first thing you're going to notice when you go to plug this thing in is that the power cable is very, very short, and it's a proprietary power cable, so you probably will have to use an extension cord unless you're right up next to an outlet. The second thing you're going to notice is that this thing basically has to be put onto a tripod, and it really should be put on a tripod where you can articulate this around, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, you're gonna definitely have to get it onto a tripod, or you're gonna have to do a ceiling mount where this thing is flipped upside down and projecting from the ceiling, because of what we're gonna talk about in a minute. But yeah, so definitely take note of that. This power cable is way, way too small. I would say it's 3.5 to 4 feet long, very, very small. So before we power it on, I am running some blackout curtains. They're probably 8 out of 10 in terms of blackout. On the camera, of course, it looks a little bit brighter, but that's how this room is set up. I luckily have a wall over here that has nothing really going on yet. We haven't set up that wall yet, so it's pretty much blank. That's where I'm going to be projecting this onto there. And then of course I'll come over here and I'm going to open these curtains in a minute to show you what the projector looks like with daylight shining on it versus with semi-blackout curtains, and you can see how dark it is over here. Okay, so here is my setup. I actually have the old Chromecast plugged directly into the HDMI port, and then I have the power coming out of the USB right here flowing into my Chromecast right there, and then here is the power cable. If you want to add a Bluetooth speaker or something, you're going to have to get a Bluetooth adapter. I'll talk about that later on. Or you could just HDMI it. Or you can just HDMI this directly into your soundbar, and then from your soundbar back into here, and then you'll have full sound coming from here into your soundbar and not have to use the onboard speaker, which we'll also talk about in a minute. So this is the setup I have going on right now. This is a 1080p maximum Chromecast. It's not a 4K or anything like that. All right, I'm gonna actually take my microphone that I'm using as a lapel mic right now. I'm gonna put it next to this fan right here just to show you exactly how loud this thing actually is. It definitely will make some sounds like a computer, and the fan to me is a little bit louder than a computer. It sounds like a computer on full-blown gaming mode. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, here we go, the maiden voyage. So this is actually 8 feet away. I have it playing a pretty bright and vibrant movie. And as you can see, it's not very bright and it's not very vibrant. It is actually kind of strange. The room is a little bit brighter than it would be if it was nighttime. So just to give you a good understanding of daytime watching, it's not impossible, but it's also not ideal right here. This is decent. And like I said earlier, if you don't have it on a tripod that can articulate, what's going to happen is if you look up towards the ceiling, you can actually see that it needs to be tilted a little bit to the right. So this, for some reason, is leaning down, and I kind of find that to be super annoying. And it's one of those things where if you pay attention, you're going to notice that the screen is actually tilting down and to the left. And there's really no way to fix that. What you have is you have these two adjusters right here. I'll go ahead and show you how that works. You turn them to the right and it brings the bottom up. You turn it to the left and it brings the bottom in. So it kind of pulls the image in and out, and then you have to basically just adjust it for your own eye. And that's kind of where this thing falls apart, and I wish it had an ability to auto adjust for you, but of course that would cost a lot more money, and depending on how far away you are from the wall will determine how much you need to adjust these dials. So definitely take note of that. All in all, I would say that the image quality is definitely watchable. It's not something that's going to make you go, oh my gosh, I can't watch this at all. But this is 8 feet away from the wall for a reason, because if you get any further back, the image just does not look as good or as crisp. So this is basically something that is going to take the place of a 70-inch TV, 60-inch TV. And if you get any closer to the wall, it of course will increase the image quality. So this is one of those projectors where you may end up with a image that is a 42-inch, and it's going to take the place of a regular 42-inch screen versus an 80-inch or something. This is not going to do that at all. So there you go. That is the first look at the image. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the curtains and just show you how quickly this gets washed out. All right, there we go. We have the curtains open. I did leave the blinds closed just for this test. So that is curtains open, blinds closed. And there you go. That is the exact same image. I did not change anything. You basically cannot see it at all. So most people understand when you buy a projector, you're not going to be able to watch it in a bright room, period, the end. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that this is exactly what you're going to end up if you don't have blackout curtains in your room, or if you don't have the ability to make your room nice and dark. All right, let's talk about the speaker. So the speaker is actually tucked into this intake vent right here. So this is where all the air comes in, and then it shoots out the other side over here. And the speaker is actually tucked right inside of there. I don't think you can see it on camera, but you can see it with your naked eye for sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my lapel mic right up to the speaker. By the way, the speaker is on 100% volume, and the Chromecast is also on 100% volume. So let's go ahead and listen to this real quick.
Mandrill males are the biggest of all monkeys, weighing over 30 kilos, enormously, frighteningly powerful, and their colors say so. Both are fearless declarations of his health and strength. And this male is more than happy to prove just how strong he is, should any male dare to challenge him.
You can definitely get by with this speaker, but it's not ideal. It's not a sound that is going to make you go, wow, this is a great theater watching experience. So I highly, highly recommend you use the auxiliary port to pump this audio out of here into something better. Even a small portable speaker would do better than this thing for sure. It definitely creaks and cracks at times with the volume all the way up. All right, let's go through the different picture modes. So you have standard picture mode, you have dynamic picture mode, you have mild, and then you have user where you can go in and customize it yourself. And you can definitely tell that it completely changes from standard to dynamic to mild. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it on dynamic, and then you can go down here, you can change the color temperature, medium, warm, cool. I'm gonna leave it on warm. Then you have auto aspect ratio. Oh, you can do 4:3. Interesting. 16:9. And then you can do noise reduction. I actually turned this off because I found that it was making the image not as crisp. So there you go. You can actually see from high to off. I don't know if you could see it on camera, but I see a huge difference. So I'd actually recommend turning that off, and that's going to give you a better image. There you go. That is much better. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the remote control itself. So like I said in the beginning, this thing is very much similar to a couple other remotes that I used previously. So it's got a very simple layout. So I'll go ahead and hit the mute button. You can see up in the top left corner, it's muting very, very fast. I'm actually going to point it straight up, and it's still activating the IR blaster and muting the TV. So you do not have to worry about pointing this thing directly at your unit. So that is truly 5 stars right there. That is a great, great remote. Hit the menu button right here, bring up the menu, click it again. I'm just gonna keep clicking it. Look how fast it works through that. Definitely decent remote. The layout is great. It's very familiar. It's something that you know and have come to like. Good job on the remote. Okay, this thing actually has sound modes. You can change it from standard to movie to music to sports to customized for the user. That's pretty cool. And then you go down here and you have auto volume, surround, and SRS surround. So that's really cool. If you do get this thing plugged into a sound bar, you will be able to get surround sound, which is really nice. And then of course it has a sleep timer and it has an auto sleep timer. That's really interesting. So you can set it for 3 hours. So if you accidentally forget it and leave the house, it'll automatically sleep after 3 hours of no use, period, the end, always. So that's really cool. Okay, so this is the home layout. This is what you're gonna look like when you first power it on. It's very similar to an old school Windows layout, which they've kind of gotten rid of, but you have all these different tiles right here. One thing I don't like is the outline around them is not as pronounced, so you really don't know where you are on the screen. Like, you can't tell that I'm on pictures right now unless you really pay attention to that tiny little outline, and I wish they would just go ahead and make it a different color or something. And then of course you can see how it changes the text to orange by default, which on photos you lose the text completely. So that's just a little funny thing that they do, very strange. And then you can click on here if you want to just listen to music, and then you can go up to your HDMI, click on that if you just want to go to your HDMI. And then photos, I'm guessing, is the USB thumb drive if you have a thumb drive plugged in. Music, I'm guessing, is probably the same, yes. And then movies, more of the same. So this whole layout right here is basically just the input and USB thumb drive. It's really kind of silly, but you can get into your settings if you need to here and adjust that. So it's basically just like a glamour version of just a simple 4-option, 5-option setting button. So it's really not a home screen. It's not anything to write home about at all.
All right, let's talk about how to send audio to a Bluetooth soundbar. You can just buy one of these little Bluetooth receivers. They have a audio out, and then they have a power to charge them up. This one actually has a battery in it. It lasts quite some time, so you can just literally charge this thing up and then plug it in to your device that you need to send audio out, and then send it to your soundbar or Bluetooth speaker, as long as they have the ability to find a Bluetooth device, because this is going to be sending out a signal to pick up on a Bluetooth device. So your other one, your soundbar, has to be able to read that this is the one that it's looking for. So this isn't going to work for everything out there. You can of course just do the AUX in the back to your speaker or soundbar and be good to go. Also, you can do the HDMI out like I talked about.
So I've been using this thing long enough that I think I have a full comprehensive review, and I have to say that it's built decent. It's definitely a little bit noisy, but if you're used to using a projector, it's not super noisy. All the functionality of it, it's pretty snappy. It loads up really quick. It does its job. The image quality is decent. It's not something to write home about. You're not going to be telling your friends about this, but if you want to just have like a fun night out and you want to point this at your house and get it as big as possible, get some good speakers hooked up, and just have a fun, like somewhat decent movie watching experience outside, then this thing is going to be fine. You're going to be very happy you bought it. If you have kids and you have a basement and you want to project it on a wall and just have fun with their kid shows, this thing is going to be great. You're not going to be mad about it. If you have a young kid, you know, preteen or something, and they want to project their game onto a big surface and just have a little gaming party where they bring kids over and they have, you know, split screen or 4-screen split, this thing's going to be great. It's not something for the hardcore movie watchers, for the hardcore projector people out there. It's really not going to do anything for you. You should skip this entirely, but you probably already know that because of the price point and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna say that it does its job. It's just not gonna blow you away by any means, and it's not gonna give you a crispy, good image. It's just gonna give you a decent image that you're going to be able to follow along with what you're watching or projecting and not feel like you're watching a mushy potato. All right, let's give this thing a star rating. So I'm gonna give this thing a solid 3.9 star rating. All right, there you go. That's the SOPYOU projector. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely click that like button. If you want to join the Adam Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a boost to make more and more videos, and it's because of you guys I surpassed 4K. Yes, people, on my way to 5K, but I need your help. Yes, you right there. Tell your friends, tell your family, this guy's on YouTube. They should go subscribe and watch my channel. But as always, I thank you for watching each and every one of my videos, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.